Hello and welcome to Kent Tonight, live here on KMTV. I'm Chloe Brewster. Here are your top stories on Monday the 13th of April. Whitstable murder, further arrests made after a teenager was attacked in the coastal town. And another roadblock, KCC warns funding for Swanscombe landslip solution is not guaranteed.
Supposedly we're in the rich, affluent southeast. It isn't. This is one of the poorest communities in Kent.
And finally, fandoms unite. Thousands gather in Herne Bay for Kent's very own Comic-Con.
Meeting the guests and meeting all the lovely people, I would say personally, because it's people that I think make these Comic-Cons worth it, I think.
But first tonight, we have some breaking news to bring you. 2 men have been arrested as part of a murder investigation into the death of a teenager in Whitstable following 4 people being arrested last week. They were arrested in Sittingbourne this afternoon. Kristen Hawthorne joins me live now from the scene of where the murder happened. Kristen, what are the details?
Well, last week, Chloe, I'm stood here on Belmont Road in Whitstable, where last week officers were called to reports of a serious assault. That was on Good Friday, Friday the 3rd of April. Emergency services attended where 19-year-old Ashton Harrington was found dead at the scene with injuries consistent with stab wounds. Officers say it was believed that he was known to those involved. As part of their inquiries, armed police carried out a warrant at a residential address on Newington Road in Ramsgate on Monday afternoon. No arrests, however, were made during that operation.
And what's the latest, Kristen? What's the latest update?
Well, like you said, Chloe, the latest is today that shortly after 4 p.m, 2 more arrests were made. That is a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old, and they've been arrested on suspicion of murder. Police attended the property in Romney Court in Sittingbourne. So that is the latest today, and further investigations about that will come out soon. However, last week 4 people were arrested on suspicion of assisting an offender. That was 2 women aged 22 and 24, as well as a 26-year-old man. They were arrested in Sittingbourne on Wednesday the 8th of April. A 21-year-old man also from Sittingbourne was arrested earlier, Sunday the 5th of April. All 4 of those people have since been bailed pending further inquiries. Those 2 that were arrested today are still in police custody.
And what have the police said?
So the police have said that the Chief Inspector, Emma Laurie, said over the last week officers have carried out a number of inquiries, including appealing for 2 men who we would like to speak to. Our officers have been seen across Sittingbourne, Herne Bay and Ramsgate as part of the investigation. We have received really good support from the public and we would like to thank them. 2 men are now in custody and we will keep the public updated as this case moves forward.
And I can see behind you there, Kristen, there's lots and lots of tributes. Can you tell me a little bit about the scene there?
Well, at the scene, Chloe, I mean, there was 2 people just shortly earlier leaving some more flowers, and there are people walking past discussing what happened, so it's clear that this has had quite a profound impact on the community. You can see the amount of flowers as well that are behind me, and the amount of messages and different gifts and things that he has received. So you can really tell that the impact this has had and the importance as well of this investigation going forward and justice being served.
Thank you so much, Kristen. Now, Kent County Council has warned there's no guarantee of a solution to traffic woes in Swanscombe 3 years on from a devastating landslip which closed the main A road into the town. It came after a heated public meeting last week where residents voiced their frustration, with some even protesting over the weekend to show their anger. Our local democracy reporter, Ollie Leader, has been finding out why funding might be the next major roadblock for Galley Hill.
No party poppers or sing-alongs in Swanscombe for this anniversary, just dozens of residents commiserating the day Galley Hill Road partially collapsed 3 years ago, leaving the narrow streets of the town flooded with lorries and traffic with no end in sight.
The roads just do not take cars, vehicles,
and sometimes HGVs. Yeah, and it's been horrendous for all of us. It really has.
Just even walking down the street here, I've several times where the cars have mounted the pavements, I've nearly been run over. And it's been really close calls.
So supposedly we're in the rich, affluent southeast. It isn't. This is one of the poorest communities in Kent, and they just feel totally neglected.
Frustration isn't hard to find here in Swanscombe. It was just days before this protest that the best part of 100 people crammed into a public meeting, one with more questions than answers.
Are there any way that we can look at health of our children?
The thing is, it's still a major incident. The road is closed.
Highways are the responsibility of Kent County Council. The cash-strapped authority has already spent more than £1 million drawing up plans for a replacement bridge or reinforced embankment to get the road reopened. But these options are set to cost upwards of £50 million, money the council does not have.
There's no certainty, and so, like I say, guarantee is a very strong word. All I can guarantee is that we are doing our utmost to make sure we can get the funding, but I cannot guarantee that funding will come, because that's the reality we live in.
The government is set to make £1 billion available to help local authorities with road repairs in the coming months. But KCC will have to bid for a slice of that money rather than simply just receiving it.
Well, we were in a situation a year ago where there was no money on the table to fix Galley Hill Road. We now have a fund we can bid into. I'm very confident that when that fund is announced, that Galley Hill road and the need to repair it will be absolutely four square within the criteria.
The confidence of the local MP was not shared by everyone at the meeting. After all, even if the money comes through, it may be 2030 or later before works are completed.
They're not doing anything, they just come and talk. So I don't know when it's going to be happen. It's really terrible every single day.
Every year we come to these meetings and every year there's promises made and people pushing the blame to each other. Nothing changes.
The hope is that a solution could get planning approval later this year. But if KCC can't get the funding, Galley Hill could face yet another roadblock. Ollie Leader in Swanscombe.
A mother has passed away after a tipper truck collided with a pony and trap in Tonbridge earlier this month. Rita Connors was left fighting for her life after her husband, Francie Connors, and 3-year-old daughter, Car, were also killed in the fatal collision last Wednesday on the A228 Boyle Way. The mother of 4 suffered serious injuries and had been in critical condition. However, police confirmed today that she has since passed. Tributes are now being paid to Rita and her family. Now let's take a look at all of your sports news from across the county. Gillingham goalkeeper Glenn Morris has saluted the impact of the centre-half pairing Andy Smith and Sam Gale after back-to-back clean sheets. Smith and Gale have started the last 2 games as a centre-half pairing and helped the Gills to successive clean sheets against Accrington, Stanley and Salford City. A 2-0 win on Easter Monday was followed by a hard-fought 0-0 draw away at Salford on Saturday. Despite their young age, Morris said their performances have overtaken their experience. To cricket now, hopes of a draw for Kent in their county championships match against Northamptonshire is not looking good after a difficult third day in Canterbury on Sunday. The day started out with some hope for the team, with Ben Compton and Sam Northeast offering up some half-centuries, but momentum was shifted back to Northamptonshire with some late wickets. Now Kent trail the Midlands club by 344 runs going into the final day, and Compton says that they just have to try and bat the whole day in hopes that they can turn the situation around. Next, Tonbridge Juddians made sure of National League 1 rugby next season with 33-24 home win over Clifton. The hosts didn't take long to get on the front foot, and Will Holling was driven over from an attacking line-out. The wind, however, took Connor Lloyd's conversion attempt wide. More points were added 5 minutes later when Shaden Osgood powered over in the centre and Lloyd made it 12-0. Clifton managed to slow things down for the next 20 minutes as both sides struggled to get any flow to their game. The visitors did score on the next try, but as the half drew to a close, TJs combined well in attack to see off the game. Next, Medway were relegated from Regional 1 South East on the last day of the regular season on Saturday following a 32-12 loss at Westcliff. Promoted last year, they dropped out of the division by the narrowest of margins, level on 43 points with Amersham and Chiltern. Medway's points difference sends them down. Medway started brightly, applying pressures deep inside, but an early knock-on denied them a chance to take the lead. After Medway broke down in midfield, the hosts struck on the counter, breaking clear to score under the posts for a 7-0 lead. That's all for your sports news. Now it's time to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We have plenty more to bring you. Our reporter Naila Mohammed will be joining me to speak about a 5-year-old boy who has suffered a skull injury. And in politics, Green Party leader Zach Polanski celebrates a local victory in Margate. We'll also hear about how next month South Eastern Railway will introduce a new timetable with the hope of making travel around Kent that little bit easier. And as usual, we'll be taking a look at the weather. All that and more after this break. welcome back to Kent Tonight, live here on KMTV. Next, a severe accident has left a 5-year-old boy hospitalised for a week in 2 separate hospitals. Mark Turner, a child with ADHD, was rushed to hospital where he was found to have a fractured skull and a bleeding brain. Reporter Naila Mohammed joins me in the studio now to tell me more. Now, Naila, what actually happened here?
So Mark Turner is a 5-year-old boy and he's a pupil of the Havershams Church of England Primary School. And like you said, he had a fractured skull and a bleed on the brain. And this was after an accident that happened before half-term on the 24th of March. And according to Tammy Smith, who is Mark's mum, what had happened was there were 4 plant pots by the electric entrance to the school. And Mark's dad was carrying Mark and he tripped on one of the plant pots and Mark broke the fall. The dad then picked him up, ran to the school and asked the school if they can call an ambulance. And you can see the images on screen now. According to the school, according to Tammy, the school just told them to put an ice pack on it and then Mark would be fine in a couple of hours. An accident report was filled in, as you can see on the screen there, and the dad was apparently advised to be aware of the signs of concussion and to be in touch with a doctor. You can also see that the graze was circled in terms of the injury, which is right next to a head injury, which is what Mark had in the end.
It's obviously worrying. What were the reactions to this?
So Tammy Smith, the mum, she was completely upset about it. And as a result, she pulled Mark and their 9-year-old sister, and his 9-year-old sister, sorry, out of the primary school because she was so unhappy with how the staff dealt with the incident. She said, and I quote, "It was shocking for all of us and that it was a heartbreaking incident." And she believed that the school is pushing the responsibility and the blame on the dad. And this was also reported to Kent County Council by the head teacher. And a spokesperson of Kent County Council said that the schools had established procedures for incidents that happen on site and that it wasn't appropriate to comment on any individual incidents because it's now the Easter break. You can see some of the images on screen of the school site there.
Thank you so much for joining us, Naila. The Green Party leader says there's no areas that the Green can't win after a seismic by-election victory in Cliftonville. Zach Polanski rallied hundreds in Margate with new Kent County councillor Rob Yates last Friday after securing more than 2,000 votes. But Reform UK says this signals the demise of the Labour vote rather than their own. Local Democracy reporter Ollie Leader caught up with the eco-populist to see what he had to say.
I think it's huge for the Green Party in Kent, but most importantly for the people of Kent, because actually what I think this is showing is that there's nowhere where the Green Party can't win. And far too often places in Kent were written off as reform territory, or places that felt, well, they didn't feel left behind, they had been left behind. And actually what Cliftonville have just got is someone who will support people in Kent, whether they voted for him or not. And I think that's a message that will resonate right across Kent, that there's nowhere we're going to be leaving behind. The Green Party are going to be campaigning in all corners of Kent.
Canterbury's Solly Orchard Park has reopened after a months-long revamp that faced opposition due to the planting of new trees. The City Council remarks that the new layout has created a more accessible and biodiverse environment with more seating areas for visitors. A newly paved riverside route offers scenic views of the Canterbury Cathedral while also providing better access for visitors with pushchairs or limited mobility. Local backlash followed the plans for the park last year, with more than 1,200 people signing a petition after campaigner Kate Handley raised concerns that the scheme would reduce the recreational activities often used in the area. Next up, new South Eastern Railway timetables are due to come into effect across Kent next month, following the train line's decision to move to Great British Railways next year. The hope is that with the restoration of peak time trains to London Blackfriars via the Medway towns and Maidstone East, as well as additional weekday services between Charing Cross and the county town, the timetables will provide more frequent services, improved connections and additional capacity for passengers. Rail Minister Lord Peter Hendy said, "As we move towards GBR, we'll continue to shape timetables with passengers and communities in mind." A club in Chatham is celebrating 60 years of activity, offering social interaction for those over the age of 50. St Matthew's Thursday Club held a dinner last week to mark the occasion, with over 100 members in attendance. Our reporter Lily Heath joined in on those celebrations.
Celebrating 60 years of founding friendships. Behind me is the place of welcome. a community centre run by St Matthew's Church in Gillingham. Today is their 60th anniversary of the Thursday Club. Let's take a closer look. Inside the hub, they shared coffee, cake and conversation. The club has collected over 100 members.
Yeah, sure. I've been the leader of the club for the last 12 years. My role is really to front the thing up, to take the lead on the organisation of our various events and run the meetings week by week. So that includes being here for every meeting, or almost every meeting, where we have entertainers or speakers. I introduce them, tell people what's going to happen, just make sure all the team are doing their work.
Well, the Thursday Club is beneficial to the community because it's been running, as you see, for 60 years, and the membership has grown. They put on a great programme for the older folks in the community, and they just love coming.
Each year we do a different charity. Last year it was the Brain Tumour Trust, and this year it's the Lucky Stars or something. It's a children's cancer charity. My sister was the treasurer, and Betty used to do the entertainment side. So the leader, really.
I look forward to it every week. I do. I've made loads of friends since I've been here, and where we sit is that we're not allocated a seat, and nobody's seat belongs to anybody, but we sort of tend to respect each other's space. So like when we come in, we sit where we normally sit, chat with our friends, chat with Jeff and Vicky, and it's a lovely way of making the day go by.
Cheers to many more Thursdays to come. This has been Lily Heath for KMTV in Gillingham.
You know what, I'm jealous I wasn't invited to those celebrations there. But now it's time for the weather. It's a cold one tonight, lows of 4 degrees in Ashford, picking up to 7 degrees in the north in Dover. Very light wind speeds going into the next day. That's 10 degrees in Medway and Maidstone, and cloudy and getting sunnier in the coast. Cloudier again going into the evening, 15 degrees in Medway and Maidstone. Looking at your outlook, it is 17 degrees on Wednesday and cloudy, 17 on Thursday and 18 on Friday. And finally, this weekend, Herne Bay was seen thousands of people gather at its high school, but not for the usual reasons. Instead of students, superheroes, doctors and villains alike attended Kent Comic Con to meet, greet and celebrate the joys of fandom. But what was waiting for attendees at this year's event? Reporter Naila Mohammed went down to find out more.
In a corner in Kent, far, far away, superheroes, villains, doctors and more unite to celebrate the joys of fandom and meet the very people they celebrate. At Kent Comic Con, on a sunny day in Herne Bay, hundreds of people queued up to attend the event, which saw most of their favourite actors in attendance. Attendees dressed up in cosplay while browsing the array of vendors, looking for bits of memorabilia to add to their collections. But it wasn't just shopping that most of them came to do.
I'm here today because the Kent here have done a Comic-Con and I love Comic-Cons, so I thought I'd come to the nearest one to my house, so I thought I'd get to come here.
What are you most looking forward to today?
Meeting the guests and meeting all the lovely people, I would say personally, because it's people that I think make these Comic-Cons worth it, I think.
So I'm really into Demon Slayer and stuff like that, so I got another sword from that. But also, I'm really happy to see like so many of my Doctor Who characters because I really love the franchise as well.
Us cosplayers, we dress up because it's a hobby, but we're like one massive big family. Everybody knows each other.
Kent Comic Con was also an opportunity for local businesses to meet the very fans they sell to.
I love pop culture. We love it. We absolutely love Comic-Con. So we seem to, and everybody else here seems to like the kind of stuff that we make as well. So it's a lovely vibe.
I met Rob about 5-6 years ago and he just did toy fairs. Yeah. And I said, why don't you do a Comic-Con? it looks more fun.
But I've been doing toy fairs for about
So-
40 years. So I've done it for a long time, but she persuaded me to do these.
But they're more fun.
They are more fun.
The first one we did, I lost him. He saw a Cyberman, and that was it. He'd gone.
And in another galaxy, just down the hall, sat the very people attendees came to see.
Very good to see a lot of the old cast that, you know, because unfortunately many of us have passed away now. But it's always nice to meet everybody again after so many years, really, and still got the same clique. You know.
Meeting the fans. I've been to the Comic-Con to every continent in the world except for Antarctica. And I'm looking forward to being invited by some seals soon.
Kent Comic Con brings together fans from multiple different universes, all of them here for one sole reason, and that's to celebrate their love for their fandom. While walking around, we've seen Deadpool, we've been exterminated by Daleks, and we've even met Dumbledore himself. Now, Kent Comic Con happens every single year, and I don't know about you guys, but I've had a really great time, and I'm looking forward to next year. In fact, I might hop in the TARDIS and head there now. See you guys next year.
Naila Mahmood for KMTV in Herne Bay.
Well, let's hope she gets back soon because there's a lot of work to be done here. Now, you've been watching Kent Tonight live here on KMTV. There's more news made just for Kent throughout the evening. Don't forget, you can always keep up to date with the latest news from across the county by logging on to our website. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.